Hey there, my stampin' friends. Susan here, Pumpkin Hill Stampers. So I have a Stampin' Show and Tell for you today, and this one's going to be kind of a quick and easy card. I'm going to use a piece of 6x6 Designer Series paper and a basic card base. So this is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2, and then I'm starting with a 6x6 piece of cardstock. So I'm going to cut this down to make our card and then just put a simple sentiment on it. So it's really going to be quite simple. But if you are one of those people who has a hard time cutting up their Designer Series paper, this one will be for you because you'll get a lot out of this one piece of DSP. So I'm going to start by cutting this down to be the same size as the front of my card, which would be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to flip it over because I want this tall stem in my card. So I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4 and put that aside, and then 5 1/2. So I'm going to turn it. Now I could go 5 1/2 here and cut this part off, and then I'm going to have some blue on the top. So I'm going to do that. But if you wanted your purple closer to the top, you could flip it around and turn it, cut it the other way. Okay, so there's my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I have these two little strips of leftover paper. Now, you could just do a simple mount, and now you've got a card, and then we'll put a sentiment on it, and you could be done. Okay, now, if you want to step it up a little bit, we're going to take this piece now, okay, and I'm going to trim this down again. Now, this is the same width as my card. If I want to go with a little bit of bordering around, I would cut it at 4 by 5 1/4. But I'm going to do something else. I'm going to cut it at, let's see, I'm going to cut it at 3, okay, 3, because that's going to leave, here's my cut line right here, that's going to leave that on my card, which is really what I wanted. I wanted that tall stem. So I'm going to cut this at 3, right, I started at 4 1/4, so this is 3, so this one's going to be 1 1/2, and then look what happens if I flip this card over. I've got that coordinating purple of the flowers. So that's kind of fun. Now, I said if I wanted to mount it on my card, right, I would cut it at 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut this one first at 5 1/4. So I'm just trimming off 1/4 inch. And if I left this one, this would go on full top to bottom, and then this one be stepped in a little bit like that. Okay? So I could do that. But I think maybe I want to step this one in as well. Okay, so I'm going to trim this one down to 5 1/4. So you see what I'm doing? I'm starting with my biggest possibility, and then I'm trimming down from there until I get to where I like the front of my card. So this one will go here, stepped in, and then this one would go over here. Now I could step it down again, or I could make it even. I think I'm going to step it down again. So I'm going to take another 1/4 inch off of my off of this piece. Now I could go with that 1/4 inch at the top. So this time I'm going to go to 5. And then I've got this, and that steps in there. And then I've got kind of a 2-stepped in card. So I think I'm happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to put this on with my liquid adhesive. If you wanted to pop up the image one with dimensionals, you certainly could do that. Right? When it's your card, you can put it on the way you want to. I'm going to keep this simple because I think I'm going to want to pop up my sentiment. So this is just going to go in. See how I put that down and kind of found my even border? Okay, and then I'm going to do this side. Step this one in. Now, this time I have to look at my right hand framing. Okay, my right hand framing. I want to be equivalent all the way around. And they're going to overlap there just a little bit where they crisscross. Okay, so with half a piece of cardstock, 1 6x6 piece of DSP, I got 2 sections for the front of my card, and I still have these 2 sections left over, so I could make a paper ribbon if I wanted to go across, right? I can use part of it on the inside, so let's let's wait till we get there. But let's see where else we go. Alright, now I have pulled out my stamp set So Sincere. I have my So Thankful for You stamp. I've done a die cut with the, what are these called? These are called Everyday Detail dies. So there's a set that are rectangles and there's a set that are circles. So I've done the rectangle that's big enough for that stamp. I'm going to use the Coordinary Blackberry Bis. That's my color. I'm just going to stamp this on. Love that we can see through our blocks, position our stamps. Voila! So I've got this. Now, like I said, I could do a paper ribbon behind that. Now, I think what I want to do is maybe distress this a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of work this with my thumb, kind of curl it this way and that, just to give it a little bit of flair. And let's see, if I put this down and I put this down over it, and I left it loose, it would just kind of curl on its own. Let me curl this one a little bit more this way. So I'm not actually going to glue it down all the way. I'm just going to put the center on and let my ribbon, paper ribbon, curl a little bit. Kind of like when you curl it with packages, right? Alright, so I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive here. That's just going to hold this down. So this is something new I haven't done before, so, you know, take it or leave it. It's just being crafty with our paper parts. And that go there, and then this one I'm going to put down dimensionals. Let's see, I have some dimensionals here. Or at least I have bits and pieces of dimensionals that will work. Okay, so let's put our sentiment on right over there. Okay, so there's that with my ink so I don't get ink where it shouldn't be. Okay, so nice, easy paper card, right? Simple stamping, just a sentiment. Now, we have this piece that's left of our 6x6. So if you had the inside, and you could then line this on the side of your card. So I'm going to cut this down to be, usually my insides are, well, you could do 4 by 5 1/4. I usually do 5 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to cut this at 5. Pull it this way. 5. Let me get a center. This one I also want to be at 5. So this is going to go in, and then this is going to go like that. So it wasn't exactly 3 3/4 wide, but because I'm covering up one side of it, it's not going to matter. Okay, so put some on there, step this in. So again, I'm looking at my top and side edge when I'm putting it down. Okay, and then this one's going to go on this side with that same edge framing. And we could even trim this a little skinnier if we wanted to. I think I'm going to trim it a little bit skinnier, just so there's a little more words for inside sentiments. So let's just trim it down at 1.5. So this is kind of like the way I use my papers in my scrapbooking. I just keep trimming them down till they fit the page. So if you are scrapbookers, these are definitely methods of sizing your papers and layers. Photos, right? Alright, so there's that. And I've used that whole piece of 6x6 DSP on this one card, but everything coordinates. Super simple. So, there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick and easy sample card. Again, the DSP comes from the Thoughtful Journey, which is in the fall catalog, and have some fun with it. All right, until next time, do some fun stamping.